So many people were suffering from physical health issues because there were things that were hurting their heart. Their heart was burdened, that emotional pain that was stuck inside.
Emotions are important. They're telltale signs of what needs to be addressed. So let them flow freely.
No matter what is going on in life, we can always find something to be grateful for. But it is really, really important that we also honor the emotions and the feelings that we have and not try to suppress them, especially as women.
We are very passionate without even realizing what comes up. We just react. It's about honoring that and seeing it for what it is and healing our heart in that way.
Hello, beautiful souls. It is Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. But before we dive into today's Wisdom Circle, I have a small request from my heart. If our conversations ever resonate with you or support you on your journey, please subscribe to our channel or like this video. It helps us grow Sacred You, welcome more powerful voices into this space, and keep you connected to everything we share. Thank you so much for walking this path with us, and let us begin with today's conversation. Welcome to another fantastic Wisdom Circle. I am really excited for this one topic close to my heart. Unburdening your heart, close to my heart. Unburdening your heart, a healing journey toward joy, something that I feel is such needed. So I'm really grateful that Sacred You has the opportunity to present these. Really, truly appreciate the beautiful Dawn Jackson who's coming in with all these women from all over the world to have a fantastic conversation on unburdening your heart. So Dawn, I'm going to hand it over to you to introduce yourself, the topic, wonderful topic, and then everyone else who's joining us today. So thank you.
Hi, Sophia. Thank you so much for the introduction. And thank you, Lisa, Sara, and Denise for being here with me today. I'm just going to introduce myself a little bit and then have each of you introduce yourself, and then we'll go into the topic. One of the reasons this topic is so near and dear to me is because I've been a nurse for 30 years. I left nursing in 2022 to help people navigate transition in their life, loss, grief. And what I was noticing in my nursing career is so many people were suffering from physical health issues because there were things that were hurting. Their heart was burdened, that emotional pain that was stuck inside. And so many times we learn beliefs in our childhood and early adulthood that keep us stuck, that keep us from healing and doing the work that we need to do to have the fulfilling lives that we desire. So that's why this is near and dear to my heart. And that's why I'm here today. And I want each of you to just tell the audience like why this topic resonates with you and what you do in the world. So Sara, let's start with you.
Thank you, Dawn, for having me, and hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. Sara Roccisano. I'm an author, motivational speaker, and the founder of Embolden Adventures, which is an encouragement platform that inspires personal, professional, and spiritual development and transformation. And why this story is near and dear to my heart is I went through my own transformation and how to unlock and unburden your heart. It's a physical process, it's a mental process, it's a mindset shift. It's a healing journey. It's all of the above. And once we can clear and unleash the gripping that's in that heart chakra, the sky's the limit, and trusting in the unfolding. So I'm really happy to get involved in this conversation.
Thank you, Sara. I love that you brought up the heart chakra because it's so important to focus on the different chakras and making sure they're all aligned so that we can feel the joy in our life again. So thank you very much. How about you, Lisa?
Hi. First of all, thanks for having me today. I'm really excited to be here. As you said, my name is Lisa, and I am a professional fundraiser in the day, and on the side, I facilitate women's healing circles. I'm a Reiki practitioner and also a death doula, and I have some training in grief as well. And this topic is so near and dear to my heart because there have been times in my life where I have been absolutely broken open, and it just kept building that wall around my heart center and didn't really live life to the fullest, and took this enormous healing journey. And now I hold space for women to do the same, their own healing. And then I recently lost my dad, and I feel like I'm healing my heart again. So this is a really important topic to speak about.
Thank you for sharing, Lisa, and I'm so sorry for your loss. I think you're exactly right that we build these walls around our hearts, and then it does affect every aspect of our life until we're able to chip away those walls and feel free again and be able to experience the joy. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And Denise.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here. And yeah, this subject is, yeah, it's a big one. And it's how we hold ourselves and how we've forgotten to hold ourselves, how we've forgotten to be there for ourselves because we've just got so many layers that we've been taught to hide ourselves. So I really love helping people, and I support people to come back and remember themselves and seeing what the triggers are in our life that lead us down to that path of keep forgetting about ourselves. The heart and coming back to our heart is always the most important thing, and it's something that we have to remember. Or it's not have to, it's about remembering who we are, remembering where we've come from, remembering where we're going, and the joy that is there for that. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Denise. I really appreciate that. One of the things that was coming to me in the last 24 hours when I was thinking about this conversation is something that I've been noticing a lot lately, and that is gratitude. So I love gratitude. I have a gratitude practice every night when I go to bed. I lay my head down on the pillow and think about what I'm grateful for before I go to sleep. But what I've been noticing, and I've been thinking about where it comes from, is that so many individuals are using gratitude thinking that's going to heal whatever is hurting them emotionally. And like I said, while I think gratitude is an amazing tool, I also know it doesn't replace the healing work that we need to do. And I think a lot of us learned in childhood that we need to be strong and we need to keep moving forward and to focus on the positive while we're taking care of our families and our career and our friends and everything because we're caretakers. And I've been a nurse, mom, and a woman and a wife. And that resonates with me a lot is taking care of other people. But oftentimes I've found that I've done it at the expense of myself. And there's times where I've been, oh, I have such a great life. I have a wonderful home and a wonderful husband and children and family and job. And focusing on that gratitude again doesn't help me when I'm struggling internally. So I'd really like each of you to speak about that and, how that resonates with you. Sara, do you want to go first?
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm glad you brought that up, Dawn, because I too practice gratitude, but not at night, but in the morning as part of my spiritual connections when I wake up. And I have a journal, and now there's 6 pages filled with affirmations and mindset resettings and gratitude that I repeat to myself every morning before I start the day. And yeah, it's very important to be grateful. It puts things in perspective. It helps to level set, right? It's a mindset shift. And then it gets you in a state of happiness, abundant joy, higher vibrational energy. I'm happy, I'm grateful today. And one of the gratitudes I remind myself is about love, that the opposite of love is fear, and fear is the opposite of love. So when we are in a state of fear, a lower vibration, we are realizing we're not in a state of love, because love is the highest vibration there is. It's source, and it's part of creation. It's creating energy. And when we're in a sense of fear, we're in the opposite of that. It's contracting, it's gripping, it's not trusting in the unfolding that something is going to work in your benefit. And you can't see clearly with fear. And so when reminding yourself that the opposite of love is fear, the opposite of fear is love, it helps to level set when you can course correct when you're in a moment of fear and low vibration. So gratitudes are important. I'm grateful for the day. It's a beautiful day today.
Thank you. So, Sarah, I have a question. What do you like when you're struggling, if you're experiencing a difficult moment in your life and you have emotional pain? How do you, is gratitude part of your healing, or how does that work for you?
I think so, because in the emotion, it's important to have your emotions flow through, right? Don't repress the fact that you're upset or you're scared
Yes.
or you're angry. Emotions are important. They're telltale signs of what needs to be addressed. So let them flow freely, and then have the mindset correction. Okay, this is temporary. I'm grateful still. There's still things that are working in my favor. There's still things that could go right. I could still trust the unfolding. The variables are beyond comprehension of what really could work out. This isn't forever. So, yeah, it's important in those emotional moments. For me, I mentioned I have a practice, and some of the things I do include drumming with my Native American drum. And it also includes a spirit walk, which I've talked about before on these Sacred Use discussions, where I go every morning up the hill and I connect with the land, I connect with the sky, I connect with nature. And there are moments where the day before I was crying, I was having emotional breakdowns, I was in fear and not trusting that things are going to work out for my benefit. And then the very next day, I find myself in that same spot on that same walk, realizing that I got through it and things are okay today and I'm feeling better today. So it's a nice reminder of being in the moment and saying, it too shall pass. I got through it. Things are evolving. And it wasn't as, I guess, narrow-minded or small frame of reference. It's actually bigger than I realized, and it's better than I can imagine.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm so glad you brought up how important it is to express our emotions versus stuffing them down, to be emotionally honest with ourselves and, if we can, with others too, because that is really the first step in healing, is to allow and to normalize what we're experiencing. Lisa, I would love to hear your thoughts.
Oh my gosh, I could talk about this for the next hour if you wanted me to. But like you and Sarah, I also have a gratitude practice. It's sprinkled throughout my day. I start in the morning, I do some gratitude work through the day and in the evening as well. It's a practice that I practice with my children. What were you grateful for today in school? Instead of saying, how was school today? Say, what were you grateful for? What good things happened today? To try to focus that mindset of them and myself on, no matter what is going on in life, we can always find something to be grateful for. But it is really important that we also honor the emotions and the feelings that we have and not try to suppress them, especially as women, as caretakers, full-time workers. There is very little time left at the end of the day to fill our cups up. But I think as women, it's really important to remember to put your mask on first. Like, you have to come from a place of self-care. Even if it's little, you have to find that bit of self-care in your day to be grateful for yourself. Now, on a very personal note, and I wrote about this in a book that was recently released, was that I had a very bad breakup, bad marriage, bad breakup. And after we separated, fear took over. Like, how am I going to pay the mortgage and pay for daycare? And all of these real world things were coming at me all at once. And I was stuck in a state of fear. And I really had to work really hard. And it took me years to shift the mindset of, why is this happening to me, to what is this trying to teach me? And that has been a game changer for me. And then years later, I was introduced to human design, and I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with human design, but if you are, one of my biggest energies is gate 51, which is the gate of shock. So I now know that I have to go through things to awaken, and I'm here to help others go through things to awaken. So that has changed my perspective on how because life is hard. Like there's so much that can bring you down and bring fear into your life and bring grief, and these are all real emotions, and it's okay to feel them. Like I think that's the most important thing. I know when I was a kid, I heard a lot of, I'll give you something to cry for, and I'm a very sensitive person. I cry all the time, and that was not encouraged. And now it took me years to realize that was just because my tears and my emotion made that other person uncomfortable. So I always have to remember to put my comfort first sometimes and make sure that I'm taking care of myself. And then that way I can give more to everybody else. And for that lesson, I am incredibly grateful. It was a hard one lesson. It wasn't easy to come to, and it took time and it took years, but I think just that constant reminder of finding things to be grateful for can take you out of that fear, and then it expands to the point where you're actually looking for the things, and then it just comes naturally. Like gratitude is just part of your everyday, but also that take it like, why is this happening to me? What is the universe trying to teach me here? What's my lesson here? And I think that's a really big takeaway.
Thanks, Lisa. I love that, first of all, you talked about how the gratitude and the pain and the fear can coexist. Because I think many times people feel like it has to be one or the other. If I'm
Yeah,
experiencing a time that's really emotionally difficult, I can't feel gratitude. That's not true. You can feel gratitude. And like
absolutely.
both you and Sarah have talked about, it helps us through these times, right? And it
And
is
two
a
things
gift.
can be true at the same time.
Yeah. And
Yep.
all these experiences do help us grow. And so thank you for bringing that up as well. There's something else that you said that I want to talk about in a few minutes, but first I want to
Okay.
ask Denise to share.
Yeah, gratitude. It's funny because I was sitting here listening, and you've all got these beautiful gratitude throughout your day and beginning and end of day. But I think mine just flows through and hits me at times where I'm going through something, or I've seen something, or I'm involved in something, or I've experienced something. Is wow, that was great. Or the gratitude that I was able to see that, or the gratitude that I'm able to be a part of that. So I think it's weaved right throughout my day and evening. And it's really about my awareness of what's going on with myself, and the awareness that's what's happening around me, that I can see these things. And like you said, instead of trying to create a mindset of gratitude, it's about seeing it. It's like pockets of moments. And I'm grateful that I've seen that, because that could really have affected me in such a bad way, or that has really affected me in such a bad way. But I'm grateful that I was aware of that. So it's like it goes hand in hand with everything we do. And it's about whether we are aware of it and can see it, or we're just skimming over it because, and it really comes back to what we've been taught. If I haven't seen my parents work gratitude in their life, I'm not going to know how to. And even though somebody else is doing it and you go, wow, they have such a great attitude to life, how come I don't? Because I haven't been taught that attitude. And so it doesn't come naturally to me. And yet some people it does naturally come to. So, it just depends on what has affected you and what's affected me. And I think from a very young age, I could see it's funny, I could see the difference in everything. I could see the difference on how people reacted. One would react this way and one would react that way. And they could be going through the same thing, especially you see that in family when you've got brothers and sisters. We all receive the same, but we all behave differently to the same. And we all take on differently from the same. So it's that, for me, it was that awareness and just being grateful for where I am and how I am and how I take on things. And I feel that optimism is a big contributor to gratitude. As we go in life, it's like seeing both sides of the story. And it's okay to see both sides. It's okay to see as they say, the dark or the shadow and the light. So it's about balancing that, because they're always going to be there. We need that yin and yang in life. So we're always going to be balancing, and it's about the comfort, as Lisa said, her comfort in, she knows that she's got to go through the harsh to actually see it, but she'll know that as she goes on, it'll get that space before realization or seeing it will get shorter and shorter, because now she practices and accepts and sees that, oh, this is just a part of me. So seeing that dark side becomes so much easier. And we need the dark, all those hard things that we go through, all that emotional stuff we go through. We need those in our lives to see the beauty in our lives.
Yeah, I agree. It's really important what you brought up, that we're all unique, and we learn from our parents and other people that we interact with when we're young. And that brings me back to something Lisa said, is I'll give you something to cry about. And people saying that you were too sensitive. I had the same experience when I was young. And what that taught me was, don't talk about my emotions, don't show my emotions, because they're not important. And when that happened, then I started keeping things inside. And I ended up with all this pain that I didn't know how to process because of what my family and what society had taught me. So I'd love for you guys to talk about, what were some of the messages that you heard when you were younger that at times have kept you from healing and from expressing your emotions openly. Sara, you want to go first?
Yeah, I think that's a commonality, right? It's a generational thing. My grandfather, I'm a family of immigrants. So, there's trauma from Italy, from the wars, World War One, World War Two. My grandfather fought in World War Two for America, right? And then it's just something where you keep it in, right? You have a lot of, in our family, a lot of change, right? You're new to a country, you're fighting a war, World War II's happening, Vietnam's happening. They went through a lot and it passed on, and you have to be strong and stoic and don't complain and be grateful, and that kind of grateful. Be grateful you have food on the table, right? But yes, there has to be a release. And I think if we don't release, we pass it along epigenetically to others. And I'm a trauma breaker in my family. I went and purged a lot of the grief and the trauma within me with the plant medicines. And a lot of that is my, own course that I took of healing. Wachuma is a San Pedro cactus, and that's a heart opener. And I worked a lot with the wisdom keepers and the shamans to help break those generational curses, those generational traumas. And I saw it in vision with the medicines. So I think that's where we're at now as a society, as a generation. We're now addressing the years and years of it accumulating and being told to be quiet and to just suck it up. And now here we are now working with the healing. Let's go, let's heal, because this is important as for the collective and for the world and for the planet in a lot of ways. Graham Hancock said one time on Joe Rogan, if you treat the planet with respect and reverence, it's like you're treating humans with respect and reverence. And that's one of the affirmations in my journal in the morning. It's a reminder. When you put good out and you have gratitude, respect, reverence, it ripples throughout the cosmos and throughout society.
What was it, Sara, that made you realize you needed to break some of these generational cycles?
It came to me. I hit my surrender point like you in 2022. I broke down. I had a career in New York City, 20 plus year career, working on Wall Street, private equity, toxic work environments, high stress, high performance, high pressure, male dominated industries, New York City, 20 plus years of that. And you almost, if you avoid it, it's going to find you. Your body and your soul calls for it. And so I was called to do the healing, and I've been doing it since 2020 and onward. But it's been an ongoing spiritual discovery for 20 plus years. But if you don't address it, it's going to find a way to find you to address it one way or the other.
100%. You cannot hide forever. Lisa, I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I feel like I am the generational healer in my family as well, at least in my immediate lineage. I think there's a lot of the other women in my family feel, or it feels like they're doing that work as well. And I just want to note the difference in how we were raised and how we're raising our children today, where we are more emotionally sensitive and emotionally intelligent when it comes to raising our own children and allowing them to feel their feelings and talk things out and not stuff it down. But you're right, a lot of what I saw growing up was she cries too much. Actually, I vividly remember a time I was out in the field. I grew up on a vast piece of land and we had horses, and me and my friends were running down a hill, and I fell down and split my knee open on a broken glass bottle. And my friend was saying, like, yelling to my mom, she's hurt, she's hurt. And I was screaming, crying because I was like 5 or 6. And she's, oh, she's always crying, and brushed it off. But it wasn't, right? And I ended up going to the hospital and getting 10 stitches, and she felt horrible. But that was the way that she was raised. So I know that my parents did the best that they could in the times that they had and with the tools they had because they learned from their parents. And I feel like we have come to this timeline on Earth to help heal those messy patterns. The town that I grew up in, there was a lot of trauma. It was a coal mining town. There was always accidents or explosions where people would die. And there was a lot of alcoholism and drug abuse. And so that was how people in that generation dealt with their trauma and their pain, was to numb it. We have to, the only way through it is to go through it, right? You have to feel that pain in order to feel the joy. If you're numbing yourself, you're not feeling the joy either. So you're missing out on this whole big, beautiful part of life to numb this part. And it's tragic. And I'm really glad that I've been called to help heal this part in my family's lineage and in myself as well, because it's an important part. I was going to say something about, because Sarah was talking a lot about shadows and Denise was mentioning our shadow side, but I think it's really important that we embrace those shadows. And that's the only way that we can embrace the light as well. Like truly embrace it is by embracing our shadows and bringing it along with us. It's okay. It's going to be a part of our life. This is just who we are, and we need to embrace it.
100% agree. And thank you for bringing up that if we don't embrace our emotions and our shadow side, we can't really experience joy because we're numbing ourselves. We're pushing down everything because we don't want to feel it. But when we don't feel the hard emotions, we don't feel the best, the joy, the excitement. And that's a hard way to live when we can't live in that really happy space because we're pushing it down and then we're just
Mm,
living in
mm,
this numb all the time, and we just go through life and things don't really affect us as much, or we think they don't because we're not allowing ourselves to have those emotions.
exactly. Imagine going through life and not finding joy in the little things like the bee and the flower and that type of thing. That would be such a sad life, I think. And yeah, I'm really glad that I'm here at this time and able to do the work that I'm doing to help see the joy because it's so beautiful there.
It is. And I think this work is so important. If we can create a ripple effect in the world and let others know that there's a different way than constantly living in a state of being numb or pain. There is way more to life, but we have to allow ourselves to feel the emotions, to go through them. Denise, I'd love to hear from you.
I've forgotten the question now. I've just been so engrossed in the answer.
We were talking about like childhood, if there were
Yes.
messages that, yeah, you
Yeah.
heard that were unhelpful.
Yeah, I really resonate with being closed off when because I was an emotional child as well. And I remember going to funerals and my mum saying, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And I could see everyone else crying around me and I wasn't allowed to. You know, that becomes a stigma in your life. And as you get older, because I'm a grandmother now, so I'm past all my children. And I think they've been a beautiful gift to see that I did exactly the same as what my mum did. Not to the degree that my mum did. I allowed them, I encouraged them to express themselves so much more. But it was the undoing of me was my children. And the seeing them, I suppose they challenged, which was a really great thing to do. And that's what I always encourage them to do. But it breaks down your own barriers. And when you don't know, and that's the thing for a lot of people, they don't know how to cope with that because I've been living the echoes of my ancestors. So I've learnt to close myself off. I've learnt to put up barriers. I've learnt not to react. And all of a sudden I was doing all of those things. And I was reacting to everything, and it makes you feel out of control. It makes you feel as though you're delusional. It makes you feel all those things that people say you're crazy. But you're not. It's just allowing it to sift through and feel. And it's not about tackling it all. It's about, for me, it was about, okay, so where's this coming from? Where's the emotion coming from? And it's about, for me, it was about seeing where that thread went to. And a lot of it is even past our parents, because our parents have learnt from their parents and their parents. So our echoes are really deep. That's why we react to so much as a culture, as a gathering. We are very passionate without even realizing what comes up. We just react. And it's like, it's about honoring that and seeing it for what it is and healing our heart in that way. It allows us to open our heart to see the reality of everything, of ourselves. It's not about trying to fix everybody else. It's about sharing what I've learned with everybody else. But it's about me, and it's a constant day to day. It's constantly, we think, oh, I found it. I found the joy in my heart. I am here. That's it now. And then all of a sudden something else we react to and comes into our life and we go, oh my gosh, where does that come from? And it is a beautiful unfolding, and it's also a terrifying unfolding, but it's all those emotions that breaks the cycle of our ancestry. And once we start doing that, we help our ancestors and we help our children. It's not just a one-sided thing. Once I take those layers off and those old learnings and those old things that impact me, and we don't think they impact our day to day, but it does. It's like what I'm reacting to has happened many years ago. In this moment, I'm very much about going to the core of healing. It's not going, okay, so when did you last feel this? It's about, no, this is what the emotion that I'm feeling now. Let's see where you first ever felt that. And that's the key for me. Where did you first feel that? Where did I first feel that? What was the emotion that was attached to that? Because they're very much stories that we have, stories that are pertinent and that are hurtful, that happened to us when we were little, and they are relevant to us, but it's about us taking a third person look at it and going, oh, okay, that's what happened. Oh, that's how I reacted. I took that on as though it was my fault, or I was the problem, or whatever. And it's about seeing the message and going, okay, that's not mine. It's somebody else's hurt, somebody else's pain. Can I give that back? Do I need to carry that anymore? And that's the gentle or sometimes harsh unfolding of everything. And yeah, it's about really tracking yourself, really seeing yourself as the tapestry. You're the thread that is threaded through everything, and your ancestry is a thread through everything. So it's about not being harsh on your ancestry, because that is a part of you, but it's about going, Lisa said, my parents didn't know any better. They've never known any better until, like us, we become aware and go, oh my gosh, I am a part of this story. I am allowing this story to overtake my life. I'm allowing these things to dictate where I go and where I don't go. And a beautiful thing I used to say to my kids all the time, they were very annoyed at the end, is everything you do will dictate the outcome of your days. Doesn't matter if it's today, doesn't matter if it's tomorrow, but it will dictate. So be aware of what you're putting out there and what you're saying and what you're doing, because it all matters. Everything we think and we say matters. It goes out into, and it touches everybody. Absolutely everybody. But yeah, it's just it's just starting with you.
I love your curiosity because it is so important that we're curious about where are these emotions coming from? Where are these thoughts coming from? And to look deeply into them. And you're right, healing isn't a one and done. Oh, I'm done. It's a daily thing. And it is beautiful and it is scary, but it gives us the quality of life that so many of us desire because
Yeah,
it's easy to be stuck surviving and not thriving.
yeah, and you look at kids, they're always, why is that happening that way? Why do I have to do that? Or what does this mean? What's that saying? Their
Mhm.
curiosity is off the charts. And
But what
we've,
happens? We start telling them to stop asking questions.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yes.
it's about allowing that curiosity to overtake you. The best thing you can do, that's your greatest gift, is to question. And we ask everybody else, how are they feeling? Are they okay? But we never ask ourselves.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's about coming home and remembering yourself.
definitely. I'm curious as we've been talking, something questions come to my mind. One of the things that I've noticed through my healing journey is that when I started becoming healthier, the people in my life changed. The, we hope to have a ripple effect on everyone, but I think oftentimes what happens is we're a reminder to other people of where they are unhealed and where they're uncomfortable and where they don't want to do the work. Because my relationships over the years have changed drastically. And so I'm really curious to talk to you guys because you've all been on a healing journey to have your take on this. Sara?
Yes, I love this question because we are all energy and frequency. At the end of the
Mm.
day, quantum physics tells us this. It's an illusion. We are energy now embodied in the physicality. And so,
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, love is the highest vibration there is. And then there's lower vibrations. So, as within, so without. And to heal within, to purge, to cleanse, to clear your chakras, to be in a more grounded state of love and gratitude and connection to source and alignment, your outer world now changes. It's just the way that energy works. So it's alignment. And misalignment shows that those that are not in that frequency band, you don't see them anymore. They're not around you, or you have the kind of visceral reactions now that you didn't once have before, which is why healing is so important. It's literally taking all the guck, the muck that's within you physically and energetically and cleansing it. Just get rid of the mud, get rid of it, let it shine. That's one of the meditations I do. I go and see my chakras from the highest crown, the purple, all the way down to the root. And I try to envision it being balls of radiant light. And wherever there's like kind of darkness or muck or whatever, I try to cleanse it and flush it with the white light and let it get the toroidal field going in movement again. So I have my ball of energy radiating outward like a ripple effect. So you magnetize what's around you. You magnetize the reality in front of you. And so that's why it's so important to be aware, mindful, and healed and in a state of gratitude because the world around you changes. You're around butterflies and rainbows at this point.
Thank you for those reminders. That was beautiful. Yeah, it's all about energy and alignment, isn't it? Lisa.
I agree with you, Sarah, 100% about the alignment and the energy and what we push out into the world, we magnetize back in. And I think that's really important. I also think that as we grow and heal, we stop settling. We stop settling for relationships with others that aren't healthy. And I think to me, it's about that awareness, and it's all about it all. How do I explain this? It's emotional and frequency. I think, like, for me, the more I healed, the better at boundaries I got. I am not going to put up with this, or I want my life to look like this, and I want these kind of people in my life. And then they just come, and you start to meet the people that you're aligned with. And I know it's that energy, but it's also the energy. And I know Sara said this and she articulated it much better than me, but it's the energy inside too, how you healed your heart and what you're going to allow into your field now. Like, you're not going to continue, like when you're in your 20s, for example, you have friends that you go out and you party with, and you might not agree with everything they do, but they're fun and blah, blah, blah. But you don't get deep. I feel like at this stage in healing, you get deep with people. Like, I'm no good at small talk. I would rather sit down and talk about chakras and Reiki and energy and love and frequency and all that type of thing. So I'm finding people that are in line with that as well. And it has been life-changing. And I feel like it's also helped me on my healing to have more people. I just like more people that are in line with that frequency of how I want to heal myself. I find more teachers and more people to walk beside me and more people to help that want to be in that frequency as well. So it's been I know it's hard to put in words, but it's been pretty incredible.
Yeah, I agree. We definitely, when we start healing, we attract the people in our life that align with where we are and really what we want for our future. And we do learn those boundaries. I don't know about you, but I had very few boundaries when I was younger. And you realize that is not benefiting your life, right? You have people that are taking advantage of you because you haven't set boundaries, because they're teaching you that you need to care for yourself. So they show up as a messenger in our lives, which is a gift, but when we're going through it, it doesn't always feel like that.
No, you're right.
Denise, you're up.
I'm up. For me, it's as our journey unfolds, we become responsibility to ourselves. We become, I agree with Lisa and Sara, the depth that you want now compared to the level of. For me, I don't watch TV very often. I'll sit down with my husband because he loves TV, but I very rarely watch it. I'm always looking into the things that fill my heart. And that's what we start doing. We start doing things that fill our heart. And when I come across people who just step into your life for you, like you said, Dawn, they're there for the messages. And as harsh as they are or as gentle as they are, there's a message in there for me because it's a reflection of myself. So it's about how I'm working through things, what I am doing. Okay, they're showing up in my life. And it's like the clients we work with, that it really correlates with what we're going through at the same time as well. And we don't realize that until it might be during or after. And I go, oh my gosh, okay, it brings up stuff for ourselves as well that we get to look at. But it's that we start seeing things from a real love perspective. It's not the judgment. It's not the, oh, they're better or they're worse or this. It's really from a place of love and honoring where everybody else is and being okay with that. If we're not okay with that's more work we got to do with ourselves and seeing why am I still comparing myself. But it's really seeing things from love and truth. Because when you do all of this, you get really honest with yourself. It's a real true thing. Oh, I'm really reacting to that. Why is that? What is coming up for me? And everything is here for us to see ourselves. Everything is here. And then we create connection with everything around us. out of love, not out of anything else but love and truth and compassion. And we see things so differently. And when you say boundaries, I don't see them so much as boundaries. I see them as, okay, they're here for this, but what is it that I need for me to move through? I don't have to push them out of my life. I don't have to separate them. I just have to be open and honest for my needs. And that's the greatest responsibility of love and coming from our heart that we can be. Which is when you're fully living from that space, it creates that energy and that vibration that people will always be coming to you to teach you and also for you to help them. But yeah, it's not a one way. It's a two-way exchange on everything, and it's really connecting to everything. Lisa was saying before, you start to see flowers so differently. You hear the birds in the background that you never heard before. You see the big, beautiful trees that are in the forest. You don't see such a forest, you see the individual, which really is a reflection of ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful. So I want to make sure that we end on time. We have a little bit of time left, but I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to just what advice or what wisdom, insight would you share with others about healing and finding joy again in their life? Because I know there's so many people out there that are really struggling. There's a lot of things going on in the world. There's a lot of things going on in our communities, in our personal lives, and it can feel really heavy. And many people are struggling to find that joy and they can't see those flowers and think, gosh, I'm so grateful that I walked by those today. You know, what wisdom would you share with them that would be helpful? Sara?
I'd go back to what I said in the beginning. The opposite of love is fear. The opposite of fear is love. And things are working out for me, like Lisa said, right? This is working in my benefit. I don't understand right now what this blessing is, but when I look back, life is lived forward, understood backwards during Kierkegaard. And I look back and I just got goosebumps. I realized that I'm so glad it worked out this way. So you have to know that in the moment when you're going through something very difficult, that the opposite of fear is love. The opposite of love is fear. And this is working out for my best interest. I don't know why just yet, but I gotta trust that it's gonna be okay. And no matter what. And so when you're in those moments, look for a hug. Ground in nature. Go out and smell the fresh air and the green grass and hug a tree, as what Denise was saying. Nature is really a healer in so many ways, and so is connecting with the heart with someone else. I didn't realize how much I needed a hug. And when you read my book that's coming out, the seventh ayahuasca ceremony I was in, of the seven that I participated in, that last one was a doozy. And what ultimately got me out of this very difficult, emotionally charged experience was a hug, was compassion extended from my friend in the Maloka, and that was the medicine, a hug.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sometimes we underestimate physical touch, a hug. I remember back when we were all in a pandemic and nobody could see each other outside of their own homes. And the first time I was able to go see a friend that I hadn't seen in months and giving them a hug, it just tears started flowing because it's so different. Yes, we can connect. I'm very grateful that I can connect with all of you through Zoom. But the fact of the matter is, if I saw you in person, that connection would be so much deeper and it would bring so much more joy. And so that physical touch is such an important part of life. So thank you for that, Sara. Lisa.
I love what Sara said. I don't know how much I can add to that, but I think if you find yourself in a state where you really can't see the light, it's really important to get grounded. And Sara said, go out in nature, go hug a tree, go touch some grass. For me, it's the ocean. I cannot tell you how many times I said, Nobody knows how much the ocean has healed me or how many times it has healed me. Even having my toe in the water, even if it's cold, it's just enough to bring me back to earth. And I think it's really important for people to get grounded. And then when you're in that state of grounding, then I think it helps you to regulate so you can journal or meditate or whatever it is that allows you to reflect on the moment that you're in or the struggle that you're in. And then it can flip that over to that sense of gratitude and saying, I know there's a lesson here. You know what I mean? And even though you can't see it right now, like Sara said, there's a reason that you're going through this. And it's really important, and it's hard, but it's really important to trust and surrender to that. And I think that was one of the biggest lessons I've learned is that trust and that surrender that everything will work out and that things are aligning in your best interest if you can let go of that control and surrender to it. I think that's really, and I'm speaking as a recovering control freak, so I have some experience
Yeah.
here.
Yes, I can relate to that. Letting go is so difficult. It's so easy to just try and hold on tight, and I'm going to change this. But reality is, as soon as we let go, it gives us more freedom. It lets some of that emotional, like that we've tied up inside, it just releases it. So thank you for bringing that up. How about you, Denise?
Surrender. Surrender. It's exactly what you've all been saying, is surrendering to what is. If you're stuck if you're stuck doing something, turn off the TV, go outside, play with your children. It's about seeing that, oh, I'm aware I'm doing this, change the direction. Stop what you're doing and turn right or turn left or go forward or just turn around and change your direction. And be open, surrender to see your patterns. Oh, I always end up here. Why am I always ending up here? It's a different story, but I'm ending up in the same place. That's a pattern. It's about seeing those things that I am continuously doing in a different way, but I'm ending up in the same spot and I'm still not happy. So it's surrendering to yourself, surrendering to what's going on, surrendering to seeing, surrendering to be open, surrender, surrender, surrender. And lots of feeling comes with that. Surrendering to the good, the bad, the ugly, the magnificent allows us to see ourselves, allows us to be open to receive what is here for me, instead of me trying to create what I think is good for me. Because when we're creating from control, we're actually trying to fit within that same mold that I was brought up with. I don't like that anymore. So what do I need to do? I need to change the scenery. I need to get out into the garden, or I need to, whatever it does that fills your heart, change into that direction. It's just a matter of stopping and going, oh, here I go again. What is this? What am I doing? Why do I do this? It's that real curiosity and over asking yourself over and over again, what am I doing? I don't know. Why don't I know? Do I want to know, or don't I want to know? So it's about answering all those questions, because when your friend says it, oh, how are you going? Oh, I don't know. I think you do know. What do you think you're going through? Because we will ask and ask because we want to help everybody else. But it's about surrendering to ourselves and really coming back to ourselves and being that friend, being that lover, being that to myself, because I can only be that for others at the capacity that I am now. So if I'm only loving myself a small portion, I can only give that same portion of love to somebody else. I can't give any more. And we think we're giving so much, but I'm not giving that to myself. So it's about curiosity, get to know yourself, get questioning yourself, curiosity. That's what pure love is for yourself. You come first.
Yeah. Thank you, Denise. That was beautiful. I just want to take a moment to thank each of you, Sara, Lisa, and Denise, for being here today and for sharing this conversation with me. I hope that it helps many people that listen to it. But yes, thank you for sharing your time with all of us today. And I want to bring Sophia back on and also thank her for having us today.
Hi, Dawn, you're so welcome. And ditto to everything you said about thanking Lisa, Sara, and Denise, but also really thank you. This has truly been a wonderful conversation. I've been fortunate to be able to sit at the background and listen to it all. Thoroughly agree with everything that's been said, especially about gratitude, whether you finish off the day or start the day with gratitude or do both. It is such an empowering aspect of your life, changes your life so much, and all these other amazing conversations. Really grateful. I do, and I'm especially grateful for everyone, but especially grateful for Sara, who's joined us in the fact that she has a funeral to go that's already on. So Sara, thank you so much for being here. For everyone who is watching the live or the replay, click on the links and reach out to these amazing women, including Sara and Dawn and Lisa and Denise. And while you're there, check out Sacred You. You already know, sacredyou.love. Come and join us for free. We have so much on offer. Lots of wisdom circles coming up in the very near future. Check them all out below. Thank you ever so much. It's really, really appreciated.